Alright, so today what we're doing is the first lesson in chapter 3. This is on integers and absolute value. Okay, first of all, integer. Okay, integer. The word integer comes from Latin. In case you care, in means not, and teger comes from tanger or tangere, and that means touched. So when you put them together, not touched, or another way to think of it is complete, whole, okay. So undivided. So an integer is a whole number, complete, undivided. So integers are positive and negative numbers that are not divided. So things like -3, 4, 5, 12, these are integers. Not integers would be things like 1/2, 0.5, 10%. Why? Because the percent sign, remember, means over 100. So things that can be written as fractions, not integers. Alright, that's just a basic definition for what an integer is. So again, integers, whole numbers, not divided, not fractions. Okay? Next, absolute value. Absolute value, easiest way to think of this is the distance a number is from 0 on a number line. Absolute value uses two up and down lines. There's a number inside. Now, absolute value is how far this number is from 0 on a number line. If you don't feel like memorizing this definition, just know that whatever's inside these two lines is going to be positive. Why? Because distance is always positive. For example, suppose you're at the school. And one of your friends lives 2 miles over here. There's your friend's house. If you're standing here and you're talking to your one friend and you say, "Hey, how far do you live from the school?" He'll say 2 miles. He'll never say -2 miles. If he's facing this way and looking at you, even though it's 2 miles behind him, he's not going to say, "I live -2 miles from the house." Distance is always positive. If you talk to your other friend who lives in the complete opposite direction here, 3 miles. You say, "Hey, how far do you live? How far do you live from the school?" He'll say 3 miles. He'll never say, "I live -3 miles from the house." Distance is always positive. That's also why if you've ever looked at a ruler or a tape measure, you never see negative numbers on there. Distance is always positive. You can say, "I live 3 miles to the left, 2 miles to the right, 3 miles behind us, 2 miles, in front of us," but you never say negative. The distance is negative. It never happens. So absolute value, since absolute value is literally the distance a number is from 0 on a number line, that means absolute value is always positive. Now let me show you with examples what this means. Let's say we're trying to find out the absolute value of the number 3. Well, if I were to graph this on a number line, that's where 3 is on a number line. How far is 3 from 0? 3 places. So the absolute value of 3 equals 3. Let's say I were to graph, or let's say I had the absolute value of -2. Well, on a number line, that's where -2 is. How many units is -2 from 0 on a number line? 2. So the answer is 2. It doesn't matter what is inside the brackets. If it's positive, leave it positive. If it's negative, make it positive. Now, to make things a little bit more complicated, let's say you had absolute value 5 minus 4. First thing you do is you solve whatever's inside the absolute value. Simple. 5 minus 4 is what? 1. So this becomes absolute value of 1. And how far is 1 from 0 on a number line?
1.
So it equals positive 1.
Oh, so that's easy.
Now for integers, they might ask you questions and say, how would you describe this situation? How would you write an integer for this? Well, let's go over some examples. Let's say you made a profit. Profit's when you get money. You made a profit of $5. Did that increase the amount of money you had or decrease it?
Increase.
So the integer is positive 5. Let's say you lost 3 dogs. I don't know, you were walking all your dogs, you lost 3 of them. Does that mean the number of dogs you had went up or went down?
Down.
Down. So if something goes down, that's negative. When you lost 3 dogs, we'd write that as -3. Let's say the temperature. The temperature is 65 degrees. Kids, is this above 0?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so we would write this as positive 65. Let's say, what would we write for the integer for 3 degrees below 0? Say it was really, really cold. It's snowing outside. 3 degrees below 0. -3. Let's say if you go to the bank. If you go to the bank and you put money into your account, we call that a deposit. If you deposit $25, well, that means your bank account went up 25 bucks, so we'd write positive 25. Now let's say the next day you went to your bank account and you took away 5 bucks. We call that a withdrawal. If you took away 5 bucks, minus 5. So these are how we write integers. This is how we do absolute value. That's integers and absolute value.